As October comes to an end, I wanted to reflect on my 19 years of survivorship from breast cancer. We're Rich and Robin.
And this is our Midlife Band.
At the age of 35 and no breast cancer history in my family, I was surprised to learn that 87% of breast cancer patients didn't have family history for breast cancer. Though I had many other cancers in my family history, breast cancer was not one of them. Every year, 2.5 million people are diagnosed with breast cancer. 19 years ago this month, I finished my first round of chemotherapy for triple-negative lobular breast cancer, and so began the journey that I have been on for the last 19 years. During my first round of chemotherapy, I did everything I could to keep my energy up. On the day of my treatment, I would walk our cul-de-sac with a bowl in case I got sick, even with the anti-nausea meds. Every day I would slowly add more distance to my walk, and just before my next treatment, I would be able to do the 1-mile loop up our neighborhood hill, only to have to restart the progress. After finishing my chemotherapy and then doing my radiation treatments, I started the new year cancer-free. My mindset was, you never know what tomorrow brings, so now was the time to live life to the fullest. Depending on the source, resources say that between 5 and 7% of breast cancers appear in women 40 years and younger. 30% of all breast cancer diagnoses happen within a few years of giving birth to a child. I had given birth to our youngest 18 months before my diagnosis. In the years to come, more than just our family trips, I took my daughter to New York for the first time. I did not know how many trips I would get to spend with her in the future. Rich and I became scuba certified, and we took our first international scuba diving trip to Roatan, Honduras. In 2014, after having some suspicious spots on my uterus, consulting an oncologist, because of my family history, I ended up having a hysterectomy. Thankfully, we did the hysterectomy when we did, as I had pre-cancer in not only my uterus, but also my fallopian tube. Shortly after that, I also had my second colonoscopy where they found a pre-cancerous polyp. In 2018, Rich wanted to go back to Italy to celebrate our 30th anniversary. But with our daughter's senior year approaching, I thought maybe we should wait until after she graduated. But since she joined a college program for that summer, we headed to Italy to celebrate our anniversary. I'm so glad he insisted that we go, as just 5 months later, I was diagnosed once again with breast cancer. And then a year later, the pandemic happened, so we just would not have ended up going. With my recent breast cancer diagnosis at the end of 2018, I learned that you have to advocate for yourself. I had just had a mammogram 5 months prior, but I was not happy with how my breasts felt. So I went back and had an ultrasound. We had many other scans that had to be done and many other challenges with insurance and approvals. But with the help of my family, we advocated and got all the treatments and scans that we needed to have a clear picture of what was to lie ahead.
I guess it would be nice if you could interrupt. It's a day like this.
I spent 2019 doing more chemotherapy and having 6 surgeries in 5 months.
It's getting real dark in here. Feels like I've been here 1,000 years. Could you bring some light to me? Or just sit beside me and never leave?
When I was 75% through with my breast cancer treatment, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. So those surgeries were intertwined with my breast cancer surgeries, and those treatments continued through the end of 2019. In 2020, with the pandemic, I was laid off, and trying to find appropriate work in the middle of a pandemic chose to be difficult. We decided to start retirement early the next year when Rich turned 55. In August of 2021, Rich turned 55 and he retired, and we began traveling more often. We were lucky enough in 2022 to spend almost 3 months in Baja, go to Canada, and also to Wisconsin to visit his family. Follow our adventures here on YouTube and on Instagram at our channel, our Midlife Van.
Where we at, Rob?
Santa Barbara, Stearns Wharf. Always great to be here. The first time we came, Rich surprised me when I was going through chemo. We came here for the weekend. Now it's a great place to come back to.